Unfortunately, I didn't prepare a speech, but that's okay, I'm usually squared away. But I will tell you a little bit about myself. It's an honor and a privilege to be considered a Baltimore City police officer, regardless of everything that you see on the news. Because it seems like they always put the bad things on there, but you never see enough of the good, and I can assure you that I've seen more good than I ever have bad, especially from the position that I have. But me personally, I'm from Baltimore City, and I actually grew up at Curley and Jefferson, which I'm sure most of you in this room are very familiar with that location. So I grew up, I didn't have a father, I had just my mother and 5 brothers and a sister. So it was a struggle. Grew up through the system, the same system that, I see the same issues, same problems. So I came up through a struggle with the odds against me. And I didn't understand, I was too young to understand why my father left. But I didn't let that change who I was, because regardless of the circumstances that I was given as a human being on this earth, I missed out on a lot. Well, I'm married, I got 3 lovely children of my own and my wife, and when I had kids, I was able to relate, and it filled that void that I couldn't fill. And I look back at that and I said, wow, I finally understand what it's like to be a father, But the point I'm making is that with this job, I personally asked God, you don't understand what it's like when you see everybody out here struggling. You see homeless people, you see people suffering from addiction and substance abuse, and you just see a lot of things out there, and there's puzzle pieces missing that I personally cannot replace. But the one thing for me is that, they always say is when you wake up, and no matter what career you chose in life, when you start to look at it as work, well then, at that point, it gets old, maybe you're getting tired of it, and it's time to move on. Well, there's not been one day, one moment that I've woken up out of my bed and came to this job, which is a career for me. And to me, this is pleasure because I love it. It's not a job. It's dedication, it's a commitment. And I'll go above and beyond for people, because for me, just like every other firefighter and officer out here who put their lives on the line every day, I want to make sure that the men and women that I work with are squared away and prepared as much as possible. Because for me, it's not about, well, I'm off the clock, I'm not getting paid. It's all about officer safety and being involved in the community and paying it forward. But there are so many people out there that I know them by their names. It doesn't matter who they are, what their addictions are. And I try to take the opportunity, no matter the struggles that I put myself through, and I work a little harder just so that I can have some money in my pocket so I can buy these kids out on corners, a drink and a bag of chips. So I can kind of give them compassion and so that we can just have a small conversation. And you know what they tell me? Officer Harris, I ain't never in my life had an experience with an officer that showed me love. And these guys can spot me from a block away, and they call me out by my name. And it's most of the time it's nothing but love. But I can assure you this, that I've had some bad run-ins with people. And usually the people that are running their mouth to me as an officer, I don't know them. I don't recognize their face, and I've never seen them. But you know what the greatest gift was? That there's always somebody in the community that knows me, and you know what? They stand up for me. And they immediately step in and take over, right? There's no backup. I'm usually out there unless it's some situation where you need backup. The community is actually taking up for me and standing up and saying, and then it squashes the whole thing. So for me, that's a huge impact, and that makes all the difference. And that's me putting the time and the effort into the community, because I'm from Baltimore City. I'm not sure where most of you are from, but for me, regardless of how bad it is, it's passion and it's love, and I'll never stop loving my city and giving back to the community, the same place that I grew up from. So to me, it's an honor to be in this position and to be on the front line serving the community from both sides. I treat everybody equally regardless of their background and whatever the case may be, because the only thing that I can give, the greatest gift, is love, and love shall overcome all things. So that's it. So I appreciate it. Thank you. And it's an honor to receive this award, and it means a lot to me, it really does. Thank you.